y'all, it's Ali. Welcome to Little Hill Homestead. I am trying to get some frugal gifts together, things that are simple that I can knock out pretty quickly and don't cost a ton, but are something that people are going to want. Let's just be real and say right now that nobody wants a cheapy Dollar Tree cup with a candy cane stuck in it. They just don't. And so I was trying to come up with things that don't break the bank, but people will actually use and appreciate. So today I went to Hobby Lobby and I got some flannel. Their fall fabrics were 75% off, so I paid $2.49 a yard for this stuff. I picked, well, for this one. Doesn't that look super Christmassy? Come on, it looks like a pair of flannel pants. So I got this one. That was $2.49. This one was a little more expensive, but let me tell you why I picked this one. As I hit my mic, sorry about that. So this one is a standard width fabric. It is 42 to 43 inches. And it's just a simple fabric, but I want to make a throw blanket. And so I wanted something a little bit wider for some people, because like, if you're like me, I like to snuggle up. So they do have some that are wider width fabric. So it looks normal and then it actually unfolds and it's 58 inches or 55 inches. A lot of the times these wider fabrics are in the fashion area, which is why this wasn't part of the fall sale. But I thought, isn't that great colors? Like it's a little bit Christmassy, kind of fall-y, but you can also use it during the year. So how are we going to make this into a very, very simple throw blanket? Let me show you. So fabrics from the fabric store on this side. Typically, you can see it's a little bit frayed, but it has a stitch in it. Can you see the little white stitch? So it's not going to further fray. So that side's actually already finished for you. But the other two ends, we need to finish. The easiest way to do that is one quick straight line. But I thought adding a little fray on the ends would make it kind of fun and festive and cute, more so than just like, here's a piece of fabric for you guys. So as you can see, when I cut fabrics, do you see that we lose the line? So I'm going to try to, on the two ends, I have my mini cutting table here. I'm going to find a stripe that I like, and I'm going to follow it the whole width of the fabric all the way down with just a pair of scissors. So for me, this side is shorter than the other side, and so I'm just going to, the weight of this is going to pull it back down, but we're going to make it do what we want. So I'm going to line it up on the edge of this navy blue stripe that's on the shortest end. So all I'm going to do, take my scissors. If you have a rotary tool, this would be really, really fast, which I'll probably do for the other end. But if not, you just take a pair of scissors, you guys. Get some good fabric scissors and just cut all the way down that edge. I, by the way, did get 2 yards for our bigger, wider blanket. The other ones, I'm going to do 2 yards on those. But I also think that I'm going to try to make like a shawl out of that. Something that you could wear as a shawl, but also could work as a blanket. So that's what we're going to do with the thinner width fabric. So for this one, you're just going to cut down the edge. It doesn't have to be neat and clean because we're going to fray it to make it look fun. So just all the way down that edge. Like I said, just go. It doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. Just as close as you can down that edge. We're almost done. I'm telling you, the big thing is you got to have a good pair of scissors. If you have cruddy scissors, it will take you a little bit longer. You can still do it. This I like because it is a very, very basic sewing project. So I'll still cut the other side, but do you see now it's like a pretty consistent one piece, right? Let me turn you around and we're going to sew that edge, but let me tell you what we're going to do with it. Hopefully you can see. Okay. So I have some black thread on here. I thought that would look better on here than white, so I'm just going with black. My lighting in here is pouring down rain today, so the lighting is a little crummy. When you fray it, you're going to pull the threads with a pair of, where's my little thingy? Seam ripper. You can also use a needle. We'll probably just use a needle. But you're going to be able to pull these threads, and you see how it kind of just pulls the fabric if you pull it? It's going to leave a beautiful edge. You can't see that at all because of this lighting. My bad. So if we pull it, do you see if you pull these out, you have to work in pieces at a time. it'll leave a beautiful frayed look. Can you see that? But we want it to be like a long fray. So I usually go back an inch to inch and a half, and I sew one line, the whole direction of that one edge that we just cut. This is how simple this is going to be, you guys. So I just pick a spot on my sewing machine, either like you can pick the 1 inch line, or sometimes I just pick like a circle that's on here and I follow that. It's just easy, right? So I'm going to do 1 inch. Just drop my needle down. I'm going to get this blanket over here up off the floor, otherwise it's going to continue to pull it down. So I've got my 1 inch mark on here. I'm just going to go forward and backwards. Oh, it would help if I turn my sewing machine on, wouldn't it? Forward and backwards. And then just go down the whole way at that 1 inch mark. I'm going to move my fabric along and continue on. If you don't have access to a sewing machine, by the way, a lot of people know somebody that has one. Maybe they'll let you borrow it because this is a quick and easy project. See if like you bring over a loaf of baked bread for them, if they'll let you use your sewing machine, or they may even help you do a couple lines. It's not a big deal. Some libraries actually rent them out, or you can always take sewing classes for really cheap through your city usually. Almost there, you guys. My sewing machine can go really fast if I want it to. So this one is our, it looks like pajama pants. This one is definitely screaming Christmas to me. This one was $2.49 a yard. One side, if you look at it, already has like a little bit of fray going. But if you look close, you can see that it's kind of different textured at the edge. You don't need to sew that edge. It won't fray any further than it already has. Say that 10 times fast. So for this one, I think I'm going to make more like, I was thinking like a throw, like that you could take to like football games and things like that. So I did one that I'm going to do that way. It's about 2 yards. You can look up like the average throw size and go that route. But I also wanted to make one that I'm going to use as like a shawl that I'm going to throw in my car, so that if we're out and about and it's cold, because we're getting into the colder months, I think this is more usable than just a throw blanket. Since this one is such a thin, narrow fabric. I mean, look. If you look at it, if I'm going to go throw this on my body to try to keep warm, it's decent, but you don't have like the tucking capability. You know what I mean? Like you want to be able to tuck that fabric and get it all cozy. But this one I'm going to make a simple throw blanket, think football games and stuff like that. But I wanted to make one that I could use as a throw blanket like that, but also I could wrap it around myself as a shawl as we're getting into winter. And then like if we're at a restaurant or something, I could take it off as a shawl and put it on my lap as a little blanket. Do you get cold? Like we get cold. So I'm thinking about 2.5 yards for that guy. I'm just going to take my measuring tape and figure out, I'm going to guesstimate. So if I do 36 is 1 yard. I'm going to see what 2 yards looks like for me. Okay, so this would be 2 yards. So if I went to throw it on, it definitely, you have enough room to throw it and do what you want. So at 2 yards, I'm like, it's close. I think I want to do 2.5 yards. So I'm going to get my little measuring tape that fell on the floor. I'm going to line my 2 yards up with the edge just so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to do another 1/2 of a yard. To me, that would be like a good length, I think. 2.5 yards. I'm not the skinniest person. I'm not petite. I'm short. But I'm thinking 2.5 yards would give me enough fabric left to make a second one, but also be enough to wrap around myself really nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and give that one a cut. Just find yourself a line and follow that line, just like we did on the other one. We're gonna do the same thing on this one. You're gonna go sew a line on each end. That end is good. Let me check this end to make sure it's straight before I go back to the sewing machine. Nope, it is not. So fabric stores are notorious for doing like the worst cuts. This one is really close though, but I'm just gonna do a nice little trim just to be sure. And you're gonna do the same thing with this one. We're gonna do one simple line. Like I said, this is what I love about it. They even sell like handheld little sewing machines. They're like $9.99. It's literally for like fixing seams and things, or like a repair sewing machine. You could use that. Just zip along the edge of this and you'll have like the perfect little quilt. Let me check my size before I get to sewing. I don't want it to be so long that it's like annoying, but my length is good and long. I mean, we're good on length, but let's see. If I put it on as like a shawl, is it going to be too bulky? Let's find out. This is called winging it. I'm just thinking, what would I like, you know? Like, if I wore this out, how cute. Like, right? I could wear that and it just looks like I'm going Christmas tree looking, or lights or things like that. But then if I'm cold, I could easily like kind of bundle in it, right? Anyway, let's finish these edges so that you can see what the final result is going to be. But like I said, you could throw it on your chair at work. You could put it on as like a little simple, right? And this cost me at $2.49. We're doing 2.5 yards. It's under $10 for a really nice gift. And literally it's going to take you like no time to sew. So let's go sew this bad boy. All right, I'm hoping you can see okay. I feel like if I turn my light on, it's even worse. Like you can't see it all, right? Anyways, I am going to pick a pattern, place on this pattern that's about 1 inch in. So I'm going to go on this dark line here and then sew all the way on that one line till you get to the other side. So what I do is I put my foot down and I go forward and backward just a tiny bit, kind of lock our stitch, and then I'm going to follow that black line all the way till I get to the other side. Just go and till you get to the other end, back stitch, and then that'll be one of your edges will be fully sewn. You can do that on both ends. All right, now that we have our line down the whole thing, we need to make a little clip in order, like a little cut in your fabric in order for it to fray correctly. So I sewed this direction. This is like the natural one that we didn't sew. So you're gonna go cut. If you see how it kind of looks like it's pre-sewn up there almost. You're gonna go right below that and do a little cut. Sorry, I'm trying to, until you almost reach where you started your sewing. So you have this little flap now. I'm using a seam ripper just because it's a little sturdier and thicker than a safety pin, but you could use a needle or a safety pin too. So I'm going to go in right at the edge of that fabric, and I use this backwards so that it doesn't actually tear my fabric fully. And you basically just put it in a little bit low and then pull forward. Do it a couple times till you get, you kind of be a little forceful with it, but it's okay. You kind of get it till you pull and pull and pull till you get kind of down towards where your seam was. And you see there's like a little fray there now starting. You're going to do that the whole length of the blanket. I just work in little sections and give it a little tug and then pull your fray. So you see now we're going to get a little fray here, and then we have these are all the strings that we're going to dispose of basically. So just keep, you can sometimes get a grip on them and pull them out instead of seam ripping. I find that just using the seam ripper to tear it is a little bit easier. So again, I just put it in here, kind of pull, and you'll see it starts to shred that fabric a little bit. Just do a couple little pieces at a time. And it's just loosening the fabric going the one direction so that you can pull these ones to be your fray. If that is making any sense at all, hopefully. Sometimes you got to be a little forceful with it, but just keep going. If you'd rather work like in sections going the other direction, like not the other direction. If you'd rather work a thin line across the whole thing and then go farther down, you can do that way too. I just find this works really well for me when I sit here and do this. But those are all the pieces that are going to go. So our fray's kind of working the wrong direction right now. So just keep tugging. I'm going to go turn on a Hallmark movie, snuggle up with this blanket that we're making, and continue to make my fray. But you'll see as you keep going, you'll get to where your fray will be the whole thing. So I've done, let me see. Where's my, I did a big section so I could show you guys, and now I don't know where it is. Hold up. This side I'm getting a pretty good fray going on the whole thing. Hold on, I think it's over here on the floor. Yeah. So this side is the side that I've worked on for a little bit already, and you'll see that beautiful fray that it's doing? It just looks like intentionally done. So you go sit, do this. It'll take probably a couple hours unless you figure out some way that I haven't. But you do this, the whole two edges that you sewed, so that when you use it, it looks just like a finish, like a scarf. So that's what I'm going to go sit and do, and then I'll come back and show you the final product. But yeah, just keep working it. It's no big deal. What's your favorite holiday movie? Like, is there a movie that you turn on and like, we love White Christmas, and there's a few other ones that we sit and watch every year, like The Holiday or Love Actually. But sometimes when I'm working on projects like this, it's like my guilty pleasure time. I can go watch my Hallmark chick flicky movies. Has anybody seen Hot Snowman? Is that what it was called? Hot Snowman? Couldn't quite get on board with him being, I mean, yeah, he was a good looking dude, but couldn't get quite on board with this goofy snowman being, super desirable. Just a weird one. Poor Shawn. He says, what do you want to say? Or I'll say, what do you want to watch tonight? And he'll be like, oh, you pick. I'm like, you're going to regret that for the whole month of December and apparently November this year, because I'll just keep picking chick flicks. But I'm going to go sit and work on this until I get all my edges shredded. Like I said, keep a trash can nearby, because you will end up with a lot of frays. So I just keep like a grocery bag on the couch with me, and I just sit there and shred. My dogs will come sit with me. And then before I gift these, I do give them a good wash so that the fray gets good, and like all the little strings that aren't pulling out correctly, you don't lose them, and then they have a big mess at their house. So that's what I'm going to sit and do. Seam ripper is definitely your best option when doing this. But just like I was saying, you just kind of convince it who's boss and just tug at it. It's pretty, I mean, it's simple. It's not hard. It just takes some time. But that's what I love about holiday gifts, is people will know, especially if they see a YouTube video on how fun this was, they'll know what you put into it. And that's my thing, is like, I mean, everybody loves a gift card because you get to pick your own thing and it's easy, but I like the idea of intention gifts, like, who am I making this for? Probably me, but let's be honest. Anyways, just keep going until you get your fray done on all sides. I'll be back to show you the final blanket, shawl, whatever you want to use it as.
I'm not terribly worried about
Ruger,
snakes, spiders, big chigs.
did you steal my blanket?
We don't leave the eggs out there long enough to get
It's my favorite.
All right, guys, it is the next day. I sat and I watched, actually it took me 2 Christmas movies to get through these. It was about an hour and a half each blanket. But as I went, I kind of figured out easier ways to get it to shred. So this is our final shred. You guys see like the beautiful fringe at the bottom. That's that one. And this one, it's a good thing it's gonna live in my house because my dogs have adopted it, but that's the fringe that we ended up with on that guy. I did find that this one was much easier to pull the threads to fringe. With this one, what I ended up doing, I told you how to do that little snip on the end. Well, I found that if I find the thread that's running this way, the very top one, I could kind of pull it all the way through to the other side instead of using my seam ripper, and it went a little faster that way. So these just came out of the dryer. I gave them a quick dry. They're super cozy. They're like the perfect warmth. We're quite enjoying them. Last night, I'll insert some video clips of our evening. But what I do to gift these kinds of things is I have it just kind of folded in a nice little, I don't know, tuck. You want all your hard work to show, right? So I'm just gonna take this and now kind of roll it into a tube so that my fringe shows on that edge. If you feel like it's not showing enough, just kind of tuck things nicely. So for this one, I'm gonna use, we've used this ribbon in a couple different videos, but it's just a nice wired ribbon. It's super easy to tie when it has that wire in there. It came from Sam's Club last year on their after Christmas sale, and I got 50 yards of it, and it was like dirt cheap. So I'm gonna just do a simple thing like that with this guy. And then I got just some old ornaments. You can either use ones you have that you're like not too fond of, or like Dollar Tree has them for $1. Some of these came from after Christmas sales the year before. Stuck up on ornaments, they make great little gift tags. So this one is going to a fisherman. So I thought, how cute is this little fish? So I'm just gonna kind of tuck that little fish on there, and then I'm gonna clip our ribbon and give him a little tie. Isn't that kind of fun, you guys? Like the fringe shows, it has a little personalized thing on it. So that's that one. The other one, this is that shawl version. The fringe on this just turned out great. And it's on 2 of the sides. It came with that. This one was definitely harder to get to fringe, but it's fine. We watched, I don't know, what Christmas movie did we end up watching? I don't know. Oh, one about a girl pilot and she gets stuck in some Christmas island or something in Canada. I don't know. They're predictable. They're easy to watch. So same thing with this one. I lined it up so my fringe is gonna end up all being on one end. And this one, I thought, we have some old yarn up in the attic. We keep it with our Christmas gifts for things like this. So we're gonna use this yarn. I think my youngest bought it for a craft and then we never got to the craft. Isn't that life? So I thought it's simple, it's red. Nobody's caring too much about the bow. They're gonna chuck it anyways, probably, right? So I'm just gonna do a little knot. That just makes it easier for me to tie a bow. And then for this one, I have this cute little snowman. He is gonna go on there. They have like little burlappy, twine loops on the top, and I'm just using those. So go ahead and loop him on there. And that one's just gonna get a cute little bow, but how cute, right? So I was debating like, oh, can I do a basket with these and maybe put a bottle of wine? And no, we're keeping it frugal. So these were under $10 each. And y'all, they're perfectly cozy. They're quite lovely. This one does work as a shawl as well. Am I wearing an outfit that I could wear with today? Not really. But it does work as a shawl quite well. And then you can like tuck it over your neck like I was showing you. But anyways, that is our video for the day. You guys, this was almost a no-sew project. If you know somebody that literally will give you like 10 minutes or less with their sewing machine, you could have them whip a couple lines on this pretty easily for you. So our fabric, again, was just some flannel. This one was the fashion flannel. It was a little easier to get it to do this, but I mean, this one looks lovely too. And they're both really cozy. So I hope you guys give this one a try. Keep, if you are new to our channel, by the way, hit subscribe because we have a bunch of Christmas gift ideas in the works that are either being edited or being filmed, or it's gonna be fun. We got some out of the box ones for you guys. So hit subscribe and Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching, guys.